Today is the last day of my winter break, and my weight is up several kilos, or more than 10 pounds, from maybe a couple months ago. And a uh, couple factors have contributed to that problem, but one of the things is um, I got my license for using heavy machinery, excavators and stuff like that, a few months back, and I was planning on working in a way where I could use the machinery to my advantage in weight loss by, um, well, my job is I separate plastic from other uh, recyclable materials and garbage and stuff, and I was planning on using the machine and spreading a lot of the garbage on the ground, and then using my body to get out of the machine and do it by hand quickly. Um, and then when I was doing that, my company president came over and said, "Hey, you can't put that much garbage on the ground. Only a little bit at a time." And so that kind of forced me to, instead of doing the garbage by hand, because if you try to separate a little by hand, it's a lot slower than doing it by the machine. If I could do it all at once, uh, it could have been done in a way that didn't waste very much time. But it's not very efficient to do it a little by hand. So I ended up kind of being forced to use the machine for most of my work, and it's got worse and worse closer to the end of the year because they bring a lot of garbage. And so even though I was planning on getting more exercise, I ended up being more reliant on staying in the excavator to get my work done. Um, and on top of that, since I've been working 13-hour shifts most days of the week, sometimes it's only 11 hours, but still, um, not enough time to wake up early and go on a walk or anything. Uh, I have to wake up, hurry up, and get ready for work, go to work, and then most of the day I'm riding an excavator. If I'm lucky, I can get one of the other operators to ride in the excavator while I work by hands, but uh, recently they tend to rely on me to use the machine and not have, I don't know, my co-worker, he said his shoulder hurts and he doesn't want to operate the excavator very much. Also, I guess some of them are just hoping that I'll get better at using the excavators and stuff, so that if they need me to do something else, I can help with that when the time comes. But the practice is really helpful, because if I end up needing a job later down the road where I have to ride an excavator all day, I'll know how to do it. But in terms of exercise, I really don't have the time that I used to have to move around. I really prefer to stay on the ground and have someone else ride in the excavator, but in terms of work efficiency, staying in the excavator ends up being what I need to do most of the days recently. And so, on top of that, since I'm working all day, um, I end up needing a fair amount of food to keep concentrated on work and stuff. If I have a little bit of food, it's a little bit of, I mean, I guess maybe I could try reducing breakfast or something, but it's very hard to do portion control, of course, because if I could control my breakfast basically, and then my beautiful wife makes lunch for me and dinner for me, and I don't really want to throw any of it away if there's too much. Um, Sometimes if there's dinner, I think I'm planning this year to at least try to maybe cut up some of the portion that is ready for me if it's too much, and try to save it for later. But in the past, that's ended up being like hard to continue because sometimes the food is food that's best to be eaten quickly and not saved for a long time. Uh, Quickly perishable food or stuff like that. Um, I don't know. Maybe. I think this year I'm gonna try to adapt to this new situation because I've had trouble in the last few months, but I've got to adapt some way. Otherwise, my weight will keep going up, and I don't want that to happen. So, and hasn't been much better during my days off actually because I've been worn out so much over the last few months, not even getting enough sleep really because of how much work I'm doing. Uh, I just wanted to use these 8 days that I had on winter vacation to rest. So I got a little bit of exercise going outside with my son. We walk around near the apartment complex, but I haven't really been doing calisthenics or anything during my break because near the end of the month, my elbow started to hurt. I started to have lifter's elbow. When I tried to do pull-ups or anything, my elbows would hurt. So I wanted to give them a little bit of rest. Maybe I'll be feeling better enough to do that. That is one thing I was able to do for most of the last few months is continue to do chin-ups and push-ups, but with the elbow problems, I at least need to take a couple weeks off of that. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do next with that. But yeah, so I've gotten a lot less exercise getting done. My weight's up a little bit. My work has been very busy, but I'm trying to turn things around again. So I think my work is still going to be extraordinarily busy when I get back to working tomorrow. Before we went on break, there was about a couple hundred tons of unseparated garbage that are probably going to be waiting for me when I get back, unless anyone worked over the break, which I doubt that. And so I'll have a lot of work to do. Hopefully the workload will smoothen out over time and I'll be able to have someone work in the machine so I can get some more exercise while I'm at work. But for the near foreseeable future, I'll probably be working early shifts and late shifts, so I'll have 13-hour shifts at least several times a week and probably 11-hour shifts for most of the rest of the week. And so I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try to at least somehow do portion control with my food. I was so tired over the last few months. I'd been drinking like a can of beer and treating myself with some ice cream and stuff after work. But I think if I cut out that practice, I can at least cut out maybe 400 or 500 extra calories after work. And I'd have a Monster energy drink before work and sometimes during work. If I can try to cut that out, that I can cut out at least a couple hundred, if not 500 or 600 calories during the daytime in the morning. And I guess over the week, that's almost 2 pounds of fat worth of extra calories I could probably cut out. So I guess it's not just food portions, but it's also kind of hard to stay motivated and energized during the whole day if you have such a long shift. So I'm not really sure I'm not really sure what it's going to be like to be completely relying on my fat stores for most of the day. But I guess maybe if it works out better than I expect, I might be able to lose some quick weight over the first little bit, and it'll probably slow down after a while, but we'll have to see. At least for most of this break, I've been able to avoid taking any energy drinks, and I only had 1 or 2 alcoholic drinks during the beginning part of the break, and I haven't had any for the rest of the break, so I haven't been so good at not being hungry and stuff. Like while I'm on break, it's since I'm not occupied with work, it's easy to end up eating out of boredom and stuff like that. But I'm trying to avoid stuff like that as much as I can. Haven't been really buying any unhealthy snacks, although there was stuff like cookies and stuff for Christmas. We decided not to make any apple pie this year during the break because it's just an extra expense and more calories to add on and stuff like that. But we were planning on doing that. We only had one apple pie this year during Thanksgiving when we usually have something during Christmas as well. But yeah, well, I'm gonna close this up for now and uh, get going. And thanks for watching.